everyone, it's Madison again with this week's DIY, and I am super excited because this week we are rolling into winter, so we are going to be using some really cool winter evergreens to make a beautiful mini wreath. So I hope you guys are excited. So let's get started. Let me tell you about some of the greens we're going to be using. So the first one is going to be cedar. So we have this beautiful cedar right here. It smells great. Trust me, when you start cracking into some of these branches, you guys, your entire house is going to smell like cedar. It's so good. It's gonna smell so good. Next is gonna be juniper. Juniper, I really like the leaves and the way it grows. It has like these really small little twigs with these little like mini berries on it, and those are gonna be great accents to our mini wreath. So excited to use that. Then we have our pine. So pine is really cool because the texture is really like pokey and very spiny is what I say. But even though it's really like spiny, it's very soft. It's so soft. It's one of my favorite evergreens to use inside of like wreath making and stuff like that. And it might be my favorite smell. It smells absolutely amazing. I love it. Love it, love it. Next we have these little hypericum berries that we're gonna mix in and add as little accents. So super excited to add those in. And then the wreath that we're gonna put them on, we have these cute little mini wreaths. They're made out of wood. And then for tools, we have this bind wire. So bind wire is pretty much like a thin piece of wire that has cloth around it, which is really nice because the cloth helps things not slip. So it's really good for forestry. And then since it's wire, when I bend it, it just stays like that because there's wire in there. So very cool. And lastly, we're gonna top it all off with a beautiful bow because I love ribbon. And I was just like, we have to have ribbon in this recipe. I love ribbon. So we're gonna have fun with that. All right, so let's get started. So when you're making a wreath, you make these things called packets. I already have one kind of pre-made for you guys, just so I can show you guys what I mean. I might make it a little bigger when we do it, but this is the packet. So you cut your greens into these little tiny, like, perfect little bunches of greenery, and then you layer them on and tie them on as you go onto the wreath with your bind wire. And of course, we're gonna do that step by step together. So first we're gonna do is we're going to make 3 piles in front of us of all the greens that we're gonna use. So I'm gonna have a juniper pile, I'm gonna have a cedar pile, and then I'm gonna have a pine pile. So we're gonna go through that. First, I'm gonna start cutting up some pine. So you're gonna go through your pine and you're gonna find little pieces that you can cut off. So let's do that. 1 piece right there. Straight off anything on the bottom. 1 piece right there. Actually, that can be 2 pieces. That piece is kind of wonky. You want really nice, straight pieces that are gonna tie on well. There's a good piece. 1 piece right here. 1 piece right here. It's so noisy here in Flowers for Dreams. The things we have to do. Here we go. 1 piece right here. That's a good piece. Another good piece right there. Gonna break that one down a little bit more. And you're just gonna make as many pieces as you want. Get creative. I'm gonna make about 10, probably. But we probably won't need 10. We want to keep them really long. We want our wreath to be full. You can make your pieces shorter if you want it to be a more compact wreath, but if you want them to be really long and full, you can like make them longer and keep them long like I'm doing. I like a full wreath, personally. All right, I think we are good. I'm gonna get 1 more piece out there. I think we are good on our pine pieces. Wait, 1 more. Now we're good on our pine pieces. So we're gonna set our pine pile to the side, and then we're gonna do the same with our juniper. So the juniper grows kind of weird, and they're gonna be more of like an accent green, so I'm just gonna cut off a few pieces, and then I'll probably split them a little further, but you just wanna get like a couple of pieces that have like a main stem on them so we can have something to tie on, and then, yeah, just keep going. Get some berries on each piece because those berries are gonna be perfect. You're gonna make a pile. This is gonna make your life a lot easy, because then when you're just making the packets, all you really have to do is just like take one of each and then make it. So it's like perfect. Juniper grows so crazy. It looks like coral. Like, I don't know why, like the growth pattern of it just reminds me of coral. Maybe that's just me though. Comment below if you think juniper looks like coral. Then splitting those pieces up. Keep going. This one might be a long one, guys, but and a frustrating one. Your first wreath is not always the most perfect wreath. I know mine wasn't. It was kind of low. I'll never show anyone a picture of my first wreath, honestly, but that's okay. We're here together and we're gonna work hard and it's gonna be beautiful. Because I believe in you guys. All right. All right, I got my pile of juniper. That was probably way too many pieces. I probably won't even need to use nearly that many, but you know, that's okay. So now we're gonna make our pile of cedar. Cedar comes off in these cool little branches, so sometimes it's already split up into the perfect little pieces for you. So I'm just gonna make little pieces of cedar and then just make my pile. Don't worry about them if they look like this. You're gonna layer them. So some pieces are really pretty like this, and then some pieces might look like this. That's okay. You'll just layer those together and it'll be fine. Your wreath will be super full and you won't have to worry about it. Just make sure you're cutting along the stem so you're not cutting your leaves. So instead of going like, oh, boop, and then like not caring about what leaves are in the way, like spread the leaves and then like only cut the wooden part. So then you're not like chopping off the heads of leaves and it leaves a weird shape. Like see, perfect little pieces all up and down the stem. Honestly, if you're strong enough, you could just like break them right off, but see, you just go up and down the stem just like that. Bam. Perfect. I want a couple of longer pieces, so I'm gonna pull from some behind me. Lucky me, working in a flower shop, taken from the display behind me. All right. Get rid of that. Ooh. All right, perfect. So we have plenty. Now for our Hypericum, we're gonna prep that as well. We're just gonna take off those bottom leaves, take off any leaves that don't serve a purpose, and then cut them pretty much the same like shape or length, excuse me, length as like all your other stems. So we're gonna prep those two. It smells so good in here. I got the whole office smelling like a tree farm. You're welcome, everyone. It smells so good. Like a candle, like a Christmas candle. All right, a few more pieces to go. Oh, one more piece to go. All right, now we have our pile of Hypericum, our pile of juniper, our pile of cedar, and our pile of pine. We are ready to go. That's low-key the longest part. All right, so now we have to set up our wreath. So biggest tip, I teach a lot of like wreath making workshops in the winter, so hopefully I get to see some of you guys at some in the Detroit store if I got any Detroit followers coming. But my biggest tip to people is keep this bind wire in this wrap. If you get it and unfortunately it is tangled, try to untangle it and wrap it around your hand. You want this to be super easy and not tangled, because if it's tangled, it's gonna make the process a lot harder. So just make sure when you have it, it is not tangled and ready to go, and just like wrap. Like you want it to unwind super easy, all right? And try to keep it in that bunch because it gets crazy. Now we're gonna anchor it onto our wreath. So what I do to anchor it onto my wreath, I literally just do like a quick little loop, loop, and then a knot. It doesn't have to be anything crazy because again, it's bind wire. It has that cloth on it, so it's not gonna slip as much. So you just wanna wrap it around just like that. And you should be able to tug on it a little bit and it won't like budge. Now I'm not saying, like we're not trying to, you know, break it, but it should be able to stay on there when you give it a good tug, all right? So we're gonna keep this all neat now that that's done. And now we're gonna start wrapping, all right? So I'm first gonna pick up some pine. Then I'm gonna do a nice full piece of cedar. Really wrap it around there, make sure it looks really nice. Bunch it together really nicely. Then I'm gonna do a nice full piece of juniper. And I don't have a lot of hypericum, but I'm gonna try to really use them wisely and place them in tiny little pieces. And then I'm gonna make a cute little packet. What I do with my hypericum is after I made my really like stylistic like bunch, I just took it and placed it right in there with the leaves poking out. And now I have a cute little bunch. It's gonna look really good. All right, so we got that going. So now what we're gonna do is right on top of the little like anchor spot we did, we're gonna lay this down flat. We're gonna lay it down flat. Matter of fact, I'm gonna cut it, give it like a straight cut so it lays down flat. There we go. We don't want it too long because then the wood pieces will stick out the bottom. And then we're gonna place it down just like this, just like that. And then we're gonna bring the bind wire through and we're gonna wrap it around and secure it to the wreath. Again, you wanna give it a good tug and make sure it's really tight. And then also, as you do that, make sure that all of your like stems are exactly how you want them, because once it's in there, it's not going anywhere. So make sure you're happy with how it looks. Move your hypericum around, cut those off a little bit, and then bam, we have the first one ready to go. Woo. All right, now on to the next one. So what you're pretty much gonna do is you're just gonna keep going. You're gonna keep making packets, and then we're gonna layer them, place it on top so it hides, and just keep going around, round and around and around. The biggest tip with making a wreath though, is you know how I said we're going in that circle and layering? You have to keep going in the same direction. All of your greens have to lay the certain way. So my next packet won't lay like this. Unless you want to do like a cute little design where there's only two and you're ending it and it's just like that. But if you want a full wreath, you want to make sure you just keep going in the same direction. Don't change directions, y'all. Don't do it. You won't like the outcome and you'll be a little surprised by how wacky it starts to look. So, and don't send me no messages being like, Madison, and then you got things going everywhere. I told you in the video. Stay going the same way. It'll make your life easier. Cut it, give it a straight edge. And then we're gonna lay it right on top of what we just did and then wrap. So you literally just keep going. Let me re-show you guys that real quick, just so you can really get a hold of. So you take that packet that you made, you make one more, and you place it just enough over the point where you don't see where you started that first one. You wanna cover, the goal is to cover the branches. And then you take that bind wire thing we got going and you wrap it around tightly. Wrap it around. Bring it around town. And then again, you want to tug it to make sure it's on there tight. And then you're just going to keep going. You're just going to keep going until you have a beautiful wreath. Guys, my stuff got tangled. What did I say in the video in the beginning of it? Don't let your stuff get tangled. And here I am, letting it get tangled. That's okay. Life is full of tangles. So I got this. So we're just gonna take the ball of tangle that we got. I straightened it out a little bit and feed it through. See how difficult it gets once you get tangled? Don't let this be you. Don't let this be you. Remember, you want to do like a tight little bunch in there. Just keep going. Fluff out your greens. Make sure you're not like tying down any of those greens in there, and they're nice and fluffy. See? Got a nice little berry accents going. Very cute. And then you just keep going. Keep making those packets. Ladies and gentlemen, just keep making those packets. All right, got my other packet on. I'm layering and then just going around town with it, making sure that that's really tight. I love how when I tell you guys to do something and then to not do something and then I do it. Girl, get it together. Come on now. Okay, let's get a little berry in there that I forgot to push in there. All right, and again, remember, I'm going in the same direction. I am not changing my direction. It will not be good if I do that. So make sure that is what you are doing so you can be a happy person, happy with your wreath at the end of the day. All right, with this one, I think I'm actually gonna skip with the Hypericum because I want to like stylistically have my Hypericum in there. So I'm not going to put them on every packet, just so I have enough to spread throughout the entire wreath. And again, I'm just going around, layering it so it covers my last one. There we go. And again, you want to make sure you're tugging on that to make sure it's tight. We got sneezers in the office. Ew, I'm joking. All right, this packet's good. Got my cute little Hypericum berry in there. My pine, my cedar. This one has a big juniper berry on it. I like it. I like it a lot. This mini wreath is so cute. You know, like you make tiny things and it's just like, oh, it's so tiny. That's how I feel about this tiny little wreath. I'm glad we're doing this tiny little wreath with you guys. They're super fun. And if you want to do a bigger wreath, come join us on our workshops that we do every year. Love to have you in store. There's usually champagne, snacks, wreath building fun. Last year they were scented and they had like orange slices on them. Oh, star anise. They smelled great. So if you're loving this, I would love to see you guys in store and to come do one. It'd be awesome. All right, I'm just securing this one really good because it has that big piece of juniper on it. Oop. Oop. There we go. All right, and then we just keep going. This is gonna be a very full wreath, guys. It is. Again, layer, go around. All right, I think I'm gonna do one more packet right there to close it off. Look how full and beautiful she is. This is such a pretty wreath. Wow. Wow. I'll make this one really full to close it off good. End on a good note, you know? It's a weird piece of pine. I'll use this piece of pine. Cut it short. Now with our last one, since it's really tucked in there, you're gonna lift up your greens. So I'm gonna lift up, because you don't wanna put it on top of that. You wanna cover that last piece we just did, right? So I'm gonna lift up the first green that we put down and just snug it in right underneath. Right underneath. And you're gonna take it, wrap it around. Especially with this one, you wanna be careful to not like clasp down on any of the like last ones we did. You wanna make sure that you're only gathering that last packet. So make sure you're fluffing out your greens so we're not, you know, pinching down any of our beautiful first greens. That would not be okay. Perfect. This is so cute. Oh my God. I'm taking this one for myself. I'm putting it in my apartment. Very cute. All right. And bam, we have this cute little wreath. Amazing. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to close it off. You're gonna flip it upside down gently, wrap it around one more time, and then just make like a loop. A loop with that last loop we just did. So you're gonna take your bunch. I'm gonna cut this to make it easier on me. Struggle for a second there. Anyways, loop it. And with that last loop that we did, you're just gonna go cinch it right off. Cinch it right off. Make sure your greens are all fluffed out and beautiful. Make sure they're laying the way you want them to lay. Fluff out your greens. And bam, tie it off. Tie her off. Just do a couple loops, that's what I do. I like to make sure it's super secure, just so I'm being extra sure. And you cut it. That knot should stay, especially if it's like really tight. And plus, since it's bind wire, that wire is gonna keep it in place, so you don't have to worry about it. Just fold it in, and then you are done. All right, so now we're gonna add our bow, our cute little Christmas bow. Again, flip out our greens to make sure that you can see them all. Making sure those juniper berries in our last packet are seen. Beautiful. And now with the ribbon, I'm just gonna find the spot that I feel like is kind of naked. So I think this spot is kind of naked, so I think a big bow will look beautiful right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my ribbon and I'm just gonna make a cute little bow. You can literally just tie it right on top, fluff out your greens before you lay them down, you know, to make sure that everything is laying out. And then I just do like and move this so you guys can see. Cute little bow like that. Make sure you pull them like kind of out to the side so it lays like sideways. And everyone's like, how do you make a pretty bow? Well, make it a pretty bow, honestly, you just adjust afterwards. When you first tie it, it might look a little weird, but tie it lightly and then fix it and then do a tight low bow. So I see that like this could be cuter. So what I'm gonna do is adjust the knots a little bit, flip some of the ribbon inside out so it shows like a really pretty side to it. Like that, like that. Cute little bow. Just pulling it underneath so it hangs underneath like that. Fluffing out my greens, making sure it's pretty. And bam! We have our cute little wreath. Look how cute she is. She's so cute. Tiny. She's like very perfect for like rooms. You can hang in places. I could put it on this hook right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna put it up here like that. Those hyperion berries really go really well with our like dark, deep red ribbon or like burgundy ribbon. And then we have those touches of blue, which really go well with our like bluish green tones and our evergreens. And it smells delicious. Again, thank you guys for going through this video with me. I know it was a long one, but I'm very proud of you. And yeah, make sure you send us pictures of what you do with this mini wreath this week.